And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Lynne Wainfan, and I'm going to read a section of my novel, Risk. And this chapter was an award winner for the Drury Award for the Long Beach City College, and it's going to be featured in an upcoming episode of Verdad magazine, our online magazine at the school.
Thank you.
Misha stumbled over a hill in the dark field. He fell to one knee, sinking into the soft soil, but still holding onto the airplane he was pulling. No damage done, but he must slow down. The night would be black as dirt for several more hours, and stealth was more important than haste. He pushed himself up again, dismayed at the clump of dirt that clung to the knee of his brown corduroy pants. Misha had starved himself for months, and these extra few milligrams of dirt weighed the same as last week's forsaken piece of his mother's babovka. The smell of it cooling on the kitchen counter had tested his commitment, driving him wild with his desire for a taste of it. Likely his last taste of it, he realized at the time. He had chosen this night long ago after consulting a calendar at school that predicted there would be no moon on April 13th, 1973. The darkness would help him later, but now it made it very hard to get where he was going. Despite his months of planning every detail, Misha had not foreseen that the field would be freshly tilled. It rose and fell in shallow rows ready for seed potatoes. Misha's head jerked toward distant headlights, turning onto the road that led to the field. He ducked down, wondering if his mother had discovered his note and found a way to come after him. He had written several drafts of that note before carefully penning the final version this morning. Dear Mama, by the time you read this, I will be gone. I beg you not to worry. I'm not in trouble or anything like that. It's hard to explain, but I only know that I must leave. I'm sorry I won't be there to help, but I will find a way to send money very soon. Tell Tomas that the truck will be in the south end of Vlad's field. I will let you know when I am settled. Love, Misha. The headlights were coming closer now. Misha held his hand in front of his eyes and squinted to get a better look. Good. Only one person inside, and his mother could not drive. He crouched lower, wishing his skin wasn't so light. Then he laughed. He must be able to hide himself, but the truck driver was bound to notice the airplane he'd been pulling. Its metal fuselage glowed in the headlights, 9 silver tubes screwed together to hold him and the landing gear to the wing. It would be a breezy flight since the structure was not covered and there was no windshield. The top of the plane's wing was covered with the blue plastic tarps that Misha had stolen from the neighborhood. The bottom of the 8-meter wing was bare, saving the weight of the covering at the expense of drag. He hoped that his stitches would hold. He'd only been able to find sewing thread. Another worry was the propeller that would push on the back of the plane. If that weren't right, he wouldn't go fast enough to worry about the stitches. Like the rest of the airplane, the propeller was his own handiwork. It had started its life as a loose fence post from this very field. The truck turned away from the field and Misha sighed. He could smell the moist, loamy soil. If he could pull the plane 3 more meters, it would be hidden from the road by a row of trees. He pushed himself to his feet for the final haul. Although his eyes were adjusting again to the darkness, starting to make out faint shapes in the starlight, the ground was still a sea of blackness. Moving the plane over each furrow was a challenge. First, Misha had to find the hill with his feet by tapping the ground. Then he had to step into the gully beyond it, and then drag the plane backwards by its propeller over the hill. After 4 rows, he arrived, breathing hard. He licked his index finger, spit out the dirt, and held his finger up to find the wind direction. The air was still, his first lucky break. Misha swung the back of the airplane around, lining its nose with the furrows, and started his pre-flight inspection.
Yay. Terrific. Thank you.
Boy, one cut.